Hey, what's up everybody? So are you thinking about moving to Michigan? And are you sick of all the fluff, all the data, all the boring stuff? You know, what's the population of this? What's the population of that? Well, in this video, we're going to go a little different. We're going to go a little bit old school. Old school! What I'm going to cover today is what are the real reasons why we moved back to Michigan. No fluff, no data. This is the real stuff. Let's dig right into it. Now, before I get really into the reasons why we moved back, I want to give you a little backstory of who I am and what brought us to this specific time and place. So, quick backstory. I'm from the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which they tag us as Upers. So I am from the UP. You know, Mountain Dew once forgot us. You know, they included the UP as part of Michigan, or as part of Wisconsin, sorry. That's not correct. They have since gone and corrected that. Anyways, I went to college at Northern Michigan University in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I since moved out to North Dakota, you know, because I graduated at one of the best times in history back in 2009. So I moved out to North Dakota, worked my butt off, paid off my college debt, and spent about 6 years out there. After that, you know, during that time, we also got married and ended up moving back to Michigan. But we didn't move to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. What we did is we moved to the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. And now in this video, that's what I want to cover. I'm going to give you the three reasons that we moved to Michigan. And the first reason that we moved to Michigan, in no particular order, but this is probably, you know, one of the higher ones, is family. We both are born and raised in Michigan. Myself in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. She was born and raised in the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. So we're both from Michigan. We have lots of family ties here. You know, living out west, although being nice and being west, closer to the mountains, we didn't have any family out there. This is where our family was. So that's why we ended up moving back to Michigan. And part of the reason why we moved to, you know, Lower Michigan is because, you know, well, happy wife, happy life, right? Happy. But, you know, in all seriousness, you know, she does have some, you know, several siblings down here, several sisters that are, you know, they're all close in age. Lots of cousins for our kids. That's really the, you know, one of the biggest reason why we moved to downstate Lower Peninsula of Michigan. And I know this is a reason why many other families moved to Michigan or moved back to Michigan. I'd be curious down in the comments below, have you moved to Michigan because of family? Now, the second reason that we moved back to Michigan was the lakes. Like I said, I grew up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, right up over by Marquette, which was right on the biggest lake of them all, Lake Superior. Now, having those lakes, I certainly missed it, especially when I lived out in North Dakota. You know, you're in the heat or in the freezing cold. You know, there's a different season for that as well. But you don't have a way to really escape the heat. You can't get into the lake and cool down. I mean, sure, there's pools, there's ponds or small lakes if you want. But there's no substituting the Great Lakes of Michigan, right? I mean, we just got back the other day, you know, going to Lake Michigan, out over on the west side of Michigan in Holland. We spent some time over at the Holland State Park beach there. But yeah, I mean, going back to it, I mean, like I said, I remember many hot, long summers out in North Dakota, working long hours where you just wish that you could just jump in a nice, ice-cold, refreshing lake, but just didn't have that opportunity. If you've never been to Michigan, or you're not from Michigan, or you're not from an area that has a nice, you know, fresh lake, you might not know that feeling. But boy, once you have that feeling, you do miss that. And number three, and the final reason that we moved back to Michigan, and this is also maybe a reason that a lot of people also moved to Michigan. This is one of my pros from my pros and cons video of Michigan up there. And that is because of the great outdoors. Now, yeah, I know there's outdoors wherever you go in the United States here, or you know, across the world. There's certainly great outdoors, and there's different, you know, pros and cons of different areas. But you know, Michigan kind of stands out, and it's a very widely visited place in the summers because of the Great Lakes, because of our vast forests and rivers. You know, and that was one of the main reasons why we like to be back in Michigan. Is we do enjoy, as a family, we do enjoy going camping. And on those camping trips, you know, a lot of times it's camping with family. Like I said, we do have other great things that are also included in outdoors. We have world-class fishing. I don't know if you've read some of the trout fishing magazines or maybe some of the Great Lakes salmon fishing, around the area. But we have world-class fishing in the state of Michigan. I mean, we're within, Southeast Michigan, granted, we don't have a lot of world-class fishing. Maybe if you're looking for, walleye fishing or something like that, we do have that. But if you're looking for, trout fishing, you want to get on a river or salmon fishing, that's gonna take you a couple hours. But we do have access to world-class fishing, and we're also an area that has a lot of access to different mountain biking. Now, sure, Michigan, you think Michigan mountain biking, those don't really go hand in hand if you're really thinking, along the lines of, British Columbia, Whistler, or Denver, some along those lines. We don't really have mountains, but we do have some excellent terrain for mountain biking. Like I said, I grew up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. There's several great destinations for mountain biking up there. The Lower Peninsula also has a lot of good destinations. It's not quite at the same scale, but we do have a lot of good destinations. Be it the the DTE trails or some of the local recreation areas right here around Livingston County and around Southeast Michigan as a whole. So there's lots of good options for the mountain biking. And last but not least, as part of outdoors, maybe outdoors, indoors, but sports. I grew up being a big Detroit Red Wings fan, and along with that was also a lot of development hockey. Here in Plymouth, Michigan, we have the U.S. national under 18 team, under 17 team. I do enjoy getting out to some games with some of the kids or some of the family to go watch some games out there, and I just didn't have that opportunity elsewhere where I was. So it's just having that opportunity for different sports, being professional and different amateur levels alike, is another reason why we moved to Michigan. And like I said, I am a licensed agent here in the state of Michigan. I'm happy to help you. Text, call, email. My information is down in the description below. Reach out to me days, nights, and weekends. I got your back. Now, hey, I'd be curious, are you thinking about moving to Michigan? Drop a comment down below, or maybe you're here in Michigan. I'd be curious, what brought you to Michigan? Help our viewers out. What brought you to Michigan? What's got you thinking about Michigan? Even if you're thinking of some things that are holding you back from wanting to move to Michigan, I'd be happy to have that conversation. Again, thanks for hanging out with me for the reasons why we moved back to Michigan. Now, until next time, we'll see ya.